From Arrow Video, one of the funner Kevin Smith movies, and I do quite enjoy this movie and his movies in general. Mallrats came out in 1995, a couple of years after Clerks, and was part of his ever-expanding View-esque universe. I really did like his movies a lot in the 90s and early 2000s, and I thought the way that the characters kind of moved through the movies, just coming into different stories, was wonderful. Mallrats was most definitely a very comedic effort, taking the love lives of a couple of characters, T.S. and Brodie, or Quint and Brodie, if you want, and throwing them into this mall and a bunch of characters in there was effortlessly fun. And the story was very comedic, very fun, but had some interesting moments that I could attune to my early days as well, when I had various girlfriends and problematic relationships at that time. And it's kind of fun primarily because of Jason Lee.
There, that was romantic, right? Passionate, yeah.
You know, this was his first real kind of role, and he brings a certain kind of energy with this character of Brodie, one that I think has always kind of stuck with that character, always kind of gave me the warm and fuzzies thinking about Mallrats, because he's such a big, larger life character who doesn't seem to have a kind of control function, almost like Randall from Clerks. He just says whatever's in his head, and if somebody disagrees with it, he doesn't really care, because he just doesn't care.
That was the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
And you have kind of this story of T.S. breaking up with his girlfriend at the start of it. Now, I watched the extended version of this movie, and it adds in a whole kind of subplot about a play at the start of this, a misunderstanding, a gun that goes off as part of the play, and people think it's an assassination attempt on the governor.
I've made a huge mistake.
And that kind of continues all the way through the movie, and I can understand completely why it was cut, because I really do think that the theatrical version is far better than the extended version of this one. And the story is just basically about these guys realising that the mundanity of their lives and what makes it so special. The women within their lives, the relationships, the things that they have to share with someone is what makes their lives worth living. And this meandering around about a mall, talking to the various other people that are doing nothing and just hanging around the mall, gives them that insight into the fact that maybe they have to man up and fight for what they truly do desire, now that they've suddenly lost it and realised that, yeah, they did take it for granted.
You have my heart.
It's the inclusion of all the fun characters, Jay and Silent Bob, and their slapstickish nature as they try to constantly outwit Wile E. Coyote in the form of LaFours, the mall guard. These kind of comic interludes are a little bit unnecessary, but they do add a bit of fun and comic-like elements into the movie, like always cutaways, non sequiturs that are somewhat part of the story but unnecessary. You get great side characters as well, even silly ones like Willem, all trying to see the picture all the way through the film, and how that concludes and comes into part of the story. But for me, it's a kind of warm and comforting movie, the kind of movie that I throw on and I just kind of enjoy the characters. I go along for the adventure. I chuckle at some of the reaction shots in this one, particularly when Brodie is giving the chocolate covered pretzels to Michael Rooker's character later on in the movie, and then the facial expressions he's having. It's just fun. The outlandishness, the crude nature of the storytelling and the jokes are all still hilarious to me. It's my kind of brand of funny. I love the mock-up dating show at the end of it, and the way that Brodie just sidelines everything.
Where do you come up with this shit?
To me, the movie rests on Jason Lee's shoulders, but there is a heart behind it. There is a good script there, and there are some moments that really do drive the movie forward narratively. but without the levity of that character of Brody, without him being the kind of wrecking ball of every scene where he just staggers in foul-mouthed and uncensored, just makes it so enjoyable and so fun to watch. He really is a character that I love within these movies and wish to see more of, or I wish I had seen more of in further adventures of him.
Just shut the fuck up.
Mallrats will always be a nostalgic trip for me. It's always going to be a fun movie. I was glad to get the extended cut on here, finally see it and realise that although it was still fun, unnecessary, and the theatrical version will always be the kind of go-to fun edition that I really want to check out. I'd love to know what you think of Mallrats. I'd love to know if you're a Kevin Smith fan, if you love the View-Askew universe, and if you have a favourite from that era. I think mine's would probably be Dogma, I think. As always, I've got other content up here if you want to see more of my stuff, and if you think I deserve it, hit the like button on this video, subscribe and share if you haven't done so, and if you're feeling extra supportive, join the membership program or even Patreon. That would be fantastic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.